Hello there, beautiful internet and you amazing creatures of the beyond. Welcome. Welcome to my new introduction of Yogash the Ghoul. The Lone Animator is a YouTube channel creator, and we're going to watch a master at his craft today. I'm not gonna play the entire video, I'm just going to play the very few, well, maybe the first minute or so, just to give you a taste. I'm not playing it for obviously copyright reasons, and well, there are many elements in there that I would rather avoid spoiling. But I just want to give you guys a taste, and if you really, really like what you see here, I highly recommend you go and subscribe to that channel, and maybe you will find other interesting things. I am a big fan of HP Lovecraft. I am also a big fan of fantasy worlds, and we're going to discuss after we watch the first minute of what Yogash really represents.
When the moon had risen, Yogash the ghoul came forth from his sepulchre and went out into the night. A new crop had been planted in his field. A freshly buried girl. He would feast on her flesh later. He came upon a sorcerer in mid-transformation, but he did not linger to see what the man would become, lest it be something too horrible to behold, even for a ghoul.
So, as you can see, the models are fantastic. Nothing is CGI, everything is stop motion animation. Um, Maybe a few things like the shadows and maybe the lighting here and there. Clearly, this is not a studio production because this artist is doing this for his hobby, and it's wow, it's really really fantastic how much detail he puts in his artwork and in his little puppets. And I've watched some of his videos. He has a lot of patience and a lot of creativity as well. So let's talk a little bit about Yogash, because Yogash is not necessarily a very important character in H.P. Lovecraft's universe, but he is a good peer to look at when we're discussing how H.P. Lovecraft created his own world, his fantasy world. So Yogash is considered to be the first ghoul, or one of the firsts anyway. And he is also always in the company of Nyarlathotep, who is the god of the old great one of madness and insanity and so on. um, Although he does have ties to Cthulhu's lineage, I don't know. It's quite a complicated family matter, I suppose. Anyway, ghouls are depicted in H.P. Lovecraft's stories as grotesque monsters, but in a way they also have a humane element to them because they come in different shapes and sizes and intelligences. So it's not just one variety of ghouls. And ghouls are not necessarily seen as evil, rather more like a natural predator for corpses. And just like wolves in the forest take care of carcasses so they don't spread any illnesses, so do ghouls with human carcasses in this situation. Well, not only humans, obviously, because they're not very picky. And what is interesting is that ghouls have many sources throughout our own real history, because H.P. Lovecraft looked at historical folklore, and there isn't necessarily an origin story of ghouls, but it is possible that it originated from Africa, as there are more cannibal tribes there. And yeah, they are the depiction of cannibalism. But what's interesting about them throughout history is that in Europe, at one point, um, there was no debate that if ghouls exist. The debate was if they can be converted to Christianity. But they were not seen as the monsters that we are being presented on the screen. They were rather seen as humans with heads of dogs. And throughout history, they've been confused with werewolves, obviously both fantasy creatures, but there are distinct differences between them just to appease the minds of the historians. But what I really realized about H.P. Lovecraft's writing is the fact that he follows the formula of storytelling of fantasy worlds, more like Dungeons and Dragons or bedtime stories, but for adults with horror elements inbuded in them. So obviously, it's not meant for kids. And there are two stories I can recall from H.P. Lovecraft's writing. One is Pickman's Model, where Pickman is a painter, and he usually paints these horrific scenes of ghouls preying on their victims and so on. But at one point, Pickman could not take it anymore, and he calls a friend at his place to critique his art. And he goes a little bit insane, and then he takes a gun, goes somewhere in his cellar, and his friend hears the shot of hears 6 shots of the gun. Then Pickman comes back and he's like, "Oh, I was just shooting a rat." So I love that H.P. Lovecraft also puts a little bit of a fun twist in there, you know. Um, but yeah, usually his stories are about insanity and how all his main characters just lose their marbles because they see things they're not supposed to see. And the other story that is, well, it's really underrated. And it's basically a group of stories, not just one. It's called The Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadath. It's quite an amazing tale, and it's there that we are being presented a, a dream world that connects to our reality, but it can go even further than our reality. It can go to other places, universes, realities. Quite interesting and twisted. But as I said, the writing of these stories are like a fable or a bedtime story. And in a way, perhaps we can look at it that the viewer, the participant into this world, cannot comprehend what he is seeing. So he's adapting it to something more familiar to his mind or his understanding. So we see them into this cartoonish or mm, watered down reality of what the dream world really is. Perhaps it's more horrific or beyond our wildest understandings of how we can perceive that world. But really, really fun stories. I highly recommend you read the books. Go to the channel of the lone of this lone artist. I will put the links in the description. And I hope you get inspired and maybe get addicted to HP Lovecraft's writing like me. Okay, guys, stay really awesome. I'll catch you in the next episode. See ya. Bye, 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 bye.